Okay, here's what we're gonna do today, and we're gonna start from. I'm just gonna quickly talk about week 11 test, and then this is the major stuff of today's class: consolidator fair sheet. Okay, so this one and whatever we talk about today, we're gonna have 5% workshop today, and will be based on what I teach today, and also this will be in the final exam for sure. And in the final exam, it's not very accumulative. Our final exam for this course is not very accumulative. Most of the stuff will be focused on what we learned from week 12, 13, and 14. Okay? Not very accumulative. So make sure you study really well for the last 3 weeks. Okay? 3 weeks. And today we have 5% workshop. Next week we have another 5% workshop. Okay? So talk about week 11 test. I handed back your test. And I only handed back the second part. The first part, multiple choice one, what I would do is I'll post the answer key on Blackboard so everybody can access it, so you know what is the correct answer. Okay? And but for the second part, and most of you did pretty well. Okay? So because you did study, right? 4 points, and some students didn't do well. It's quite easy, just didn't study. Okay? And in the final exam, there might be questions like this as well. So make sure you're studying. But I'll give you the topic as well. Okay. But it's just some funny. When I was marking this, it just made my Sunday. When I was marking this, you know the question number 14. Okay. Question number 14. Qantas walkabout air pass. Not in our class. Okay. But definitely in our level. Okay, somebody wrote, you can walk freely on the airplane. It's double deck A380. You can walk freely upstairs, downstairs. It just made my day. But you know what? At least that person tried. Didn't leave it blank, right? I have to give them encouragement, right? At least they tried, but just at least made my day, okay? But make sure you study. And so what we're going to do today is intro to consolidator. This one, we've already learned consolidator, right? In the beginning of CRS, we learned consolidator. Which consolidator company did we use to buy airline ticket? Which consolidator? Inter, right? In campus travel, which one do you guys use? Inter? I think Debbie has another account as well. No, just Inter you guys use, right? Okay. So Inter is the main consolidator company we use. So basically, very quickly review what is consolidator fare. And consolidator fare is a reliable distribution channel for airlines. So airlines sell the tickets through consolidator. It's like I call middleman or Costco, airline ticket Costco. And basically, you do the airline sell it to Inter, and then Inter, on the other hand, sell it to agent. Okay, again, not to general public. Same thing with Costco. You must have a Costco card to purchase stuff, right? So like for Inter, you must have consolidator. You must have a agent ID to purchase it. So it's a negotiated annual contract with airline. So the reason why I emphasize this is because from now on, what we're going to do is we're going to learn airlines contract to consolidator company, to read the contract and to be able to sell accordingly to our clients. The consolidated fares, usually they carry similar restriction with published fare, which means the rules are very similar. There's a couple of things a little bit different. Most of the time, advanced purchase will be waived, but other restrictions are similar. So when do we use consolidator? When we travel internationally. And this one very important because for your client, if they travel from Ottawa to Vancouver, don't bother going to consolidator. They're not going to have a fare for that one. Okay? Mostly internationally. And the last minute travel is big. If your clients travel last minute, like leaving tomorrow, definitely try consolidator. You will have a big saving. And international business first class as well, big saving as well. So the point of using consolidator is we get the net fare, and we put what? Before we sell it to our clients, we have to add a what? Markup. That's the point. Markup, because markup is how we earn money. Okay. Net fare is how much we pay consolidated company Intel, and I put the markup and sell it to my client. Okay. And that's the point there. So that's consolidated fare. And rather than introduce Intel, today I'm going to use another consolidated company. It's called J-Tours. It's located in Toronto. The reason why I use this one is this is the only consolidated company. They actually publish the airline's contract to the agent so that we sell based on the contract. Okay, so the contract negotiated with various airlines. What this means is J-Tours has a different contract with different airlines. How this works is, so you go on J-Tour website and they have all the different contracts. For example, they have Air Canada contract to Europe, to Asia. They have Cathay Pacific contract to Asia or to Australia. And then when your clients come to see you, right, and they want to go to, say, to Venice, and you want to get a consolidated fare. So what you do is you go on, check the contract. It's a contract sheet. You check the contract and you read the contract. So they give you the fare. In order to get that fare, you must follow some rules, right? So you look at that rules. Then what you do, you make the booking from your Apollo, GDS, can be Sabre or whatever. For us, what we do is I read the contract, I sell the flight through my GDS. I sell it, I end up in R, okay? I don't issue the ticket, okay? So how do I sell it? I sell it based on the contract. They ask me, you must sell K class. Then I sell K class. You must make connection in Toronto. I sell through Toronto. So after I sell it, then this is important. I queue this booking to the consolidator. Remember I said I make the booking on my GDS, but I don't issue ticket. What's the point of selling from consolidator? Who issues the ticket? It's consolidator, right? So I only make the booking. Then after I make the booking, I queue it. What does mean queue is that, so I create a PNR like this, right? My PNR. I don't issue the ticket. Then I electronically send this PNR to the consolidator. They have a ticketing agent there. When they see this PNR, then they check it. They say, okay, your client's going to Europe with Air Canada. Then they have a contract as well. They say, do you follow my requirement? Do you book accordingly? If you do, then they will issue the ticket based on the contract price, which of course will be cheaper than you buy from website, right? Then after they issue the ticket, what are they going to do? They queue this PNR back to you, and you have a file. Okay, so that's how this works. The key point is we make the booking on GDS, we don't issue the ticket, then we queue it to the agent, then they issue the ticket for us. Okay, that's the point of this. Some students might ask me, okay, this is a very valid question. Some students ask me, well, I checked, we learned how to issue ticket from a photo check consolidator. We went to the Intel website, and we point and click. We get the fare, right? But what's the point of using this? Why don't we just go on Intel website or whatever? J-Tour has website too. I just point and click and create, send, make the booking. Why do I bother make the booking myself and read the contract and queue it to them? Anybody knows why? It takes more time. It's much faster to go on website, point and click. Most of the time, yes, go ahead, David. What do you want?
They may have more information than online does at the moment.
That's absolutely right. It's because point-to-click on the website has its limitation. Okay, so it is easy, it is fast, it's more efficient. For most of the time, we do point and click because, for example, if your client just saying, "I want to go out to London round trip," then no problem. I just point and click. Easily, you can get it from Consolidated website. Most of the time, you do use that. But when there's a complicated itinerary, when your clients want to visit some remote area, or they want to go do some combination between different airlines, and then you cannot find it from Inter or Consolidated's website. At this point, you have to look at the contract and then make the booking yourself and queue it to them. So this one is to facing more complicated itinerary. Okay? So that's the reason why today, when we are doing some case studies, some students will say, oh my God, this is such an insane itinerary. Well, that's the reason we use this consolidated sheet, because otherwise we just point and click. Okay? Excellent. So the company is called J-Tour. Okay? Yes. This is not on Blackboard yet. I will make it on Blackboard after the class. Okay? So talking about the consolidated fare sheet, and all the fare sheet are from J-Tours. But I'm going to focus. So this week I'm going to talk about consolidated. Next week and week 14 as well. So how I organize it is today we're going to focus on the Europe, Middle East, and Asia. Next week we're going to focus on the destination to South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, and part of Asia as well. Okay? And week 14 we're going to do more investigation, get you ready for the final exam. So that's what we plan to do. So first one, we go with Europe one. And Europe one is easier contract, okay, fare sheet. So, and I posted on Blackboard, but because your Monday class, you don't have time to print, so I printed for you, okay? And very important to take notes on this one, because I'm telling you, this contract sheet will be in your final exam. Okay? So make sure you write very detailed notes. Oh, you already printed it?
Yeah.
Oh, you printed too? Excellent. You need it or you're okay? You're okay? Yeah, okay. This one, unfortunately, you see, the problem of this is you will find some students say, I can't see. You see some lines and you can hardly see? It's because it's the color. It's a PDF file. I cannot change the color. So when you print the black and white in color, and this is what it looks like. It's hardly see, okay? But all the documents I handed out today are on Blackboard already. Okay, on Blackboard. So if you have a hard time to see it, open your Blackboard. But make sure you write notes on this one. Okay? So our goal, guys, again, I'm just going to emphasize what is the goal. Our goal is to be able to read the contract, the fare sheet, and be able to make the booking accordingly and figure out the commission. Okay? What is the base fare? How much is base fare you're going to charge for your client? That's our goal. Okay? We're going to do is from the easiest one to the hardest one. Today we're going to have one hard one. But I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible. If you don't understand, please raise up your hand. Okay? Because once again, this will definitely be in your final exam. I will hand you about 6 or 7 fare sheets. Some of them will be definitely in your final exam. Okay? So we start with the Air Canada Europe one. Okay? Do I have a good link? Okay. You know what? I'm going to use the other one. Is this big enough? No. No, okay. Is this big enough? Can you see from the back? Okay, very good. So here we go. So how to read this one from, again, this is the easiest one you can get. This is the easiest one, okay? So first of all, on the left side is J Tours. Okay, that's their. It's not Japan Airlines, so it's a J Tour. Okay, and whenever, how do they issue this, do this fare sheet? It's basically they will based on which airlines contract, and also not only which airline, they also tell you it applies to what type of itinerary. So for this one, is which airlines contract? It's Air Canada's contract, right? So it does not apply to other airlines, only Air Canada. And also, what type of itinerary does it apply to? It applies to what? From Canada to this destination, this four. So Paris, Venice, Athens, and where? Edinburgh, right? Okay. So that's the 4 destinations, okay? So basically, if your clients come to see you, say, I want to go to this destination with which airline, here are the contracts you're going to use. I will tell you why do we use this one, okay? So very program name, joint venture Canada to this destination, and I want you to highlight this percentage off. Percentage off. Do you see that one? I need a laser. Percentage off premium economy air contract. Do you see that one? So make sure you highlight percentage off. What does percentage off? It means this one is by its commission, its percentage. There are 2 ways to earn money. There are 2 ways to earn money to buy ticket from Consolidated. One is by percentage commission, or they call percentage off. The other one is called markup. There are 2 ways to earn money. So the first one for this contract is called percentage off. What does it mean? Is that you sell the ticket. For example, this ticket is $2,000. You find it from $D, okay? That's a published fare. And rather than give you the net, you put a markup on top. This one is you earn commission, which means they will tell you what is commission. For example, this one is what? 8%. So say you issue one ticket, published fare is $2,000. How much commission you earn on this ticket? Right? So each ticket you sell, you earn $160 commission. So this is the scenario number 1. It's called percentage commission or percentage off. Okay? And we're going to talk about the next one later. For this contract sheet, it's by percentage. So which means, what does it mean? This means the more expensive the ticket is, the more I earn. Make sense? The more people traveling, the more I earn. Okay? So that's and also it's a premium economy. It's not economy, it's premium economy. Air Canada does have premium economy. So origin from Canada, so this one applies to anywhere from Canada, traveling to this 4 destinations. And destination is 4 of them. Fare basis code, okay guys, look at this. Applicable AC published fare. What this means is the fare basis code exactly same with $D. Remember when you do $D, you find it, right? And O or E class. So it's a O class or E class because this contract applies to what type of cabin? Premium economy. So when it's premium economy, it's O class and E class. Okay. And net discount. So when they talk about discount, remember it says a percentage off. So what is discount? What is commission? It's at 8% off applicable published premium economy class fare. So when we talk about published, we're talking about $D. Okay? So say $D is 2,000, and what is commission you get for this ticket? It's 160, 8%. Okay? So with no seasonality, which means doesn't care when, okay? Because you're earning on what? On the percentage. If it's high season, what does it mean? The $D is more expensive, then I earn more commission. Whereas if it's a low season, $D is what? Cheaper, and I earn a little bit less commission. But I don't care. I don't care about seasonality. I only care percentage for this one. And now terms and conditions. Like what I said, this is the easiest contract we can get because the terms and conditions are easy. But still, we want to go one by one. Again, this would definitely be in your test or the workshop, okay? Fair basis code, this one, any premium published fair. So like what I said, it's $D. And fair application, this is important. You can use as a round trip, one way, or open draw, anytime, okay, anytime. So if your client say, I only want to do Ottawa to Venice one way, no problem. I don't care. You check one way, premium economy, I get 8% commission. I can sell that. So this one is pretty flexible. Seasonality as per published fare. Remember there it says no seasonality. So which means anytime year. This one, number 4, number 5, number 6. You must highlight this one. This is a very important for the fare sheet. And some students say, well, why is 2013? It's because this is a 2013 fare sheet. I was trying to get it for 2014, I cannot find it. But it does not matter because it matters is about how to read it. Make sense? And so first ticketing date is April 3rd. So this one, it might be, for example, on March 20th, 2013, and this fare sheet is released. Then you know the first ticketing date has to be April 3rd. You can't do issue the ticket before that. And the last ticketing date is September 30th. Again, you see, they put it in green, they red, bolded. It's because it tells you this is a ticketing deadline. Which means, for example, on September 29th, your client comes to see you, right? And you want to get commission for this one. You absolutely have to persuade your client to do what? Issue the ticket before September 30th, because after that, this fare contract does not apply anymore. Do you get 8% commission anymore? You don't. Because most of the ticket with Air Canada, you don't have a commission. Okay? They don't have commission. So that's very important for us to know what is ticketing deadline. And first outbound date, July 1st, which means this one is if you want to get this commission, your clients cannot leave before July 1st. Okay, July 1st. And the last outbound date is per published fare rule. This one you check $B. And you will find in this fare sheet, you'll find there are lots as per published fare. What does it mean? This is a consolidated fare sheet, right? The terms. And they say as per published fare, which means whatever I have, it's the same thing with you get from the $B. Okay, it's the same. Remember I said in the beginning, I said most of the consolidated fares carry the same fare rules with published fare. So that's what it means. And the reservation for all sectors must be confirmed. So confirmed is important. Ticket must be issued on Air Canada stock by CRS system. So this one means only Air Canada. And booking class. What is a booking class for this fare sheet? O or E. Okay, O or E. Okay. And routing and flight application, Air Canada only, which means you cannot use other airlines. And day of the week, you see, from number 14 to number 19, they are as per published fare, which means what if I want to know day of week? Where do I find that? I just go to $D. and then check $V. Okay, and discount, this one I want you to highlight, is what are the discounts for the child and infant? Okay? For the accompanied child and infant occupying seat, well, as per published fare. So basically the same thing, you go to $V. So $V, what is the child discount? Most of the time? 75%. How about infant? What is infant discount? 10%. So 10% you, for example, the ticket is $2,000. How much does infant pay? $200. Okay? And this one they highlight is means, for example, the infant is $200. Okay? Do I get commission by selling infant ticket? I do. You get exactly the same discount, 8%. So I get 8% on 200, so it's $16. It's better than nothing, so I still have it. And for child, the same thing. How much is a child? I times 8%. Okay. So one-way journey is talk about one-way journey. Is this good or not? Okay. So please use designator O for one-way ticket. Yes, you can. 22 to 28. Again, this one's as per published rule, which means you'll check $V as well. Okay. Combination, this one, guys, I want you to highlight. This is very important. Combination. Okay. So let's read this. Combination of different booking of. Should I know? Okay. Do you have one, Emily? Yes. Okay. Nikki, you have one. Okay. So, Cesar, do you have one? Okay, very good. And combination of different booking classes permitted. Okay. What does this mean? Is we have O class, we have E class. Is that possible? Outbound O class, inbound E class. Absolutely possible because it says it is allowed. But how do you calculate the fare? So this one is charge half of applicable fare for each half round trip. What does this mean is O class round trip is $2,000 and E class round trip is $3,000. Okay? Then what is your total fare? You need to do what? Divide it by half. Because you only use half of the round trip and half of the round trip. So you add them together. So that's what it means. So total would be $2,500. If you use half of O, half of E. Okay? In case of different rules, more restrictive applies. I want you to highlight this one. Okay? What does it mean is that you combine O class and E class together. But if they have different fare rules, then the most restricted one applies. For example, if O class is $300 non-refundable, whereas E class is fully refundable, then what is the cancellation penalty for this ticket? Is what? 300, the most restricted one. So that's what it means, okay, for international one. The same thing for the minimum, maximum stay, okay? End combination. This one we don't worry about it, so you can cross this out. And side trips. So let's talk about what's the definition of side trip. Anybody knows what is side trip? What is side trip? Have you heard about side trip? Or add on, it's the same destination. I'll give you one example, okay? I'll give you one example. What is side trip? For example, I'm traveling from Ottawa to Frankfurt, then Frankfurt to Venice. Okay? I travel with Air Canada. Okay. And Lufthansa. Air Canada and Lufthansa, let's say. And what is a hub? what is the connecting point? Frankfurt, right? Frankfurt is connecting point. And what is a side trip called? Side trip is basically when I make connection in Frankfurt. Let's see, I'll give you an example. So for example, Ottawa to Frankfurt, then Frankfurt to Venice, okay? And this one, I do a stopover in Frankfurt because what I want to do is I want to visit Munich as well. Okay? So side trip means this is my final destination is Venice, right? I just want to do a side trip on my stopover in the hub, so which is a Frankfurt. Then I do this. Sorry, I'm seeing you. What does it mean is, when I stop over in Frankfurt, then I want to do a side trip to Munich. So what I do is, I fly with Lufthansa, let's see, Lufthansa, to Munich, and coming back from Munich to Frankfurt before I continue my journey to Venice. So that's called side trip. Okay, that's called side trip. Because this one is all AC, whatever, right? And your side trip is basically where you go to another destination from your connecting point. So that's a side trip. Or we call add-on, which means add another journey after, okay? So that's side trip. And here we go. Upgrade is per published fare. Number 31. Yes?
Just back to side trips for a second, it says it's not permitted. How do they, side trips or combinations are not permitted?
Not permitted, which means you can't do that.
How would they know if I booked something with somebody else?
Okay, a very good question is if you book in 2 different tickets, they don't care.
Got
If you put in the same ticket, not permitted. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. And the number 31, and highlight this one, endorsement. What does endorsement is means? Here the rule says no endorsable, which means endorsement, which means, for example, this is Air Canada ticket, right? But what if Air Canada that day does not work, there's no flight, or for some reason, and they endorse it to Lufthansa or other airlines to opt to use this ticket? That's called endorsement. But for this fare, you can't do endorsement, which means you have to travel on Air Canada. So that's endorsement. Okay, and ticketing surcharges. Proper collection of surcharges is the responsibility of a travel agent. So which means when you issue this ticket, whatever surcharges, you'll have to collect all of them. If you don't properly collect them, you'll be responsible for that surcharges. Okay. Service charge, you see, this is important and they highlight in red. Okay, that's why some of yours is not very clear because it's red. So let's see, a service charge of $50 applies to ticket for change, rerouting, reissue, cancel, or refund, plus the following. What does it mean? If this one is consolidated service charge. So let's write it down. Consolidated service charge. Because this, you are issuing ticket from consolidated, right? So if your clients want to do something, what is the scenario? The scenario is, for example, I issue a ticket for Patricia, okay, from this fare sheet. And then 3 days later, Patricia comes to see me saying, I need to change the date. Can I do that? Absolutely, you want to change, I can change. So first of all, did I issue the ticket? I didn't because Consolidated issued the ticket. So technically, I can pull it the PNR, but I cannot make changes because I don't own this ticket. So what do I have to do? I have to call or do online with Consolidated. So do you think Consolidated would do this operation for free? Absolutely not. So this is what we call service charge. You ask them to do this, they charge $50. Yes, question?
And we can lump a service charge for ourselves.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Because your clients don't know there's Consolidated. So are you going to do it for free? You will not do it for free too, right? Either. So how much do you charge? Let's say our service is $50. $50, right? So when she comes to see me to make changes, how much minimum service fee I have to charge? 100. I get 15, consolidator get 50. And within that $100, how much do I only get? 50. Because the other 50 I have to give to whom? To the consolidator, right? And very good. So that's a service charge, $50. But look at this sentence. They say plus the following, which means when you make changes, that's only the service charge. Do you think airlines would let you do it for free? Most of them not. If it's a service change fee, then you have to pay the change fee. So in terms of change, there are actually 3 fees. Number 1, agency service fee. Right? You're not going to do it for free. Number 2 is what? Consolidator service fee. Number 3, remember this is for us, this is for consolidator. And when you make changes, there's also possible what? Possible change fee, airline change fee. Okay, so this is in terms of change. Actually, they're actually number 4, possible fare difference. Okay? This sounds scary, but that's a reality. So sometimes when clients come to see you to make changes, these are all the fees you must collect. Okay? Service fee, agency, service fee, consolidator, then possible change fee and a possible fare difference. Okay? So that's in terms of change. And what else? I want to do the special rules. Name change not permitted. Make sure you read this one. Okay. Name change not permitted. Okay. So make sure you only focus on the whatever I ask you to highlight. Focus on whatever I ask you to highlight. Okay. So that's for this fare rule. Now let's see how does it work in the real life scenario, okay? So for example, let's see, David comes to see me. He wants to travel from Ottawa to, David wants to travel from Montreal to Paris. Okay? So Montreal to Paris, first of all, I need to check what? $D, right? How much does it cost? So $D, Montreal to Paris. Let's see. Air Canada. So we want to travel Air Canada. So, okay, so that's the lowest fare, $157. But are we booking the lowest fare? David is on to travel with class. So he wants to travel with what? Premium economy, right? Premium economy, what booking class? The 2, right? O or E. So let's see how much is a premium class. Let's see O or E. Do you see it? No? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Where?
28.
Okay, so 28. So it's a $1580, right? Round trip, it's not bad. Now let's look at for O and see whether we see O. You see O class?
Yeah.
Yes, O class is 3,000. Okay? If there's E class, we book E class. But if there's no E, we book O. Okay? So here we go. Let's do availability. Do you see E class? Yes, right? We see E class. So cell 1, E1, GK. Do you see E class? Yes. Okay, so we saw this. Montreal to Paris non-stop and E class. which is premium economy. So now, what to remember, this fare sheet is a what percent? Is a markup or commission based? It's commission based. Commission based, which means the fare you sell to your client are exactly the published fare. So this is the published fare, right? But how do I earn money? I cannot charge more than published fare, right? The way I earn money is by doing what? Percentage, right? So now, in order to see, before I want to celebrate, I sold like 5 tickets as family. Then I really want to know how much I'm gonna earn on this ticket. So how do I find out? First one, I have to find out how much does each ticket cost, right? $B. So this is $B, it's published fare, and I need to find out how much is that. So the price itself is how much? Total price, $22.48.65, right? My question is, I get 8%. I get 8% of what? Of that final price? Now what do I get? You only get commission on base fare plus surcharges. So can you tell me, what is base fare and surcharges? This one. Local selling fare, $16.40. So here we go. How much do I get? So each ticket is what? $16.40. This is base fare and surcharges. I only get commission on this one, right? So 8%. Can you do a calculation? How much is this? 8% of $16.40. How much is that? I would say, I don't know. I can't do it. This is too much. This is what you need to do in the workshop or test. Huh? Like this, okay? So each ticket, my commission is $131.20, okay? And like what I said, if it's 5 people in the family, then I get times 5. So it's about $600, which is pretty nice, okay? And here is what I will do is, in real scenario, because we live on the commission, right? So when David comes to see me, actually David, when he comes to me, he's saying, oh, I want to go to Paris. I want the lowest fare, okay? Then I will do $D. I'll do a booking, see how much is the lowest fare. But in reality is, because I know this contract fare sheet, right? So this one gives me 8% commission. But I know the other one, if I book lowest fare, I get nothing. So what do I do? What will you do if you see this one?
As the agent?
As an agent.
I'd keep the one with the commission.
How do you keep it? The day when you want the lowest fare. I cannot force you to buy this one.
Try to sell it to them. Try to sell it higher.
Upsell. Try to upsell big time. Because look at this one, $22.48, right? But if you book the lowest fare, trust me, it's about $1,200 as well. Let's see. And what I really want to upsell is talking about the benefits of premium economy, right? And in the end, it's still ethical. It's your choice. I talk about the benefit of premium economy, and I talk about the price. I see the difference, and it's your choice to choose whichever. I cannot force you to buy this one with commission, but I can definitely try to upsell, right? Nicely. Don't be too pushy, because sometimes you can cross a line, right? Sometimes upsell can cross a line, okay? But anyway, just want to explain it. So understand how does this work? And then if I say that he's agreeing to paying this premium economy, then I make the booking. Then do I issue the ticket here? I don't. What I need to do is I finish all the mandatory fields and queue this one to the consolidated J2, and then they issue ticket and queue the back to me. Okay? Then I get commission. Make sense? Nice. Okay, perfect. So that's number 1. So in this fare sheet, we talk about a region, destination, and commission. This is percentage of dollar amount. This is actually percentage. It's a percentage, okay? Because you sell the published fare, you get percentage on that, okay? Rather than net. And terms and conditions, we talked about this. and we did this Montreal to Paris one. Next one, let's take out this one is to Vietnamese airline to Saigon, okay? This one is not hard either. The second one is not hard. The hardest one is the one. Okay. You have it, right? Are you printing it?
Oh, no, I don't.
You have it? Okay. So let's see this Vietnamese airline, this one. So first of all, before we read this fare sheet, we have to give you some geography knowledge because you haven't learned Asia, right? So this is Vietnam. Vietnam is in Southeast Asia. It's below China and besides Thailand and Cambodia. And Vietnam is a little bit different. It's a skinny long one, stretching from south up to north. So it's not quite far between east and west, but very long between north and south. And there are two major cities in Vietnam. That's all we need to know. One is in Ho Chi Minh City, and also we call Saigon. The code is SGN. The other one is up north. The biggest one is second one is Hanoi. Okay, Hanoi HHOI. Okay. So these are the two gateways in Vietnam. Okay. So when you travel with Vietnamese airline, let's see how this work. Okay. I'm gonna go to my file. Vietnamese airline. Okay. So this is the Vietnamese airline, the fund. Okay. So again, first of all, which airlines? Fare sheet. Not Air Canada anymore. It's what? Vietnamese airline, VN. Okay. And Vietnamese airline belongs to which alliances? Okay. Okay. Anyway, so let's look at this. This one, first of all, is Vietnamese airline, and from where to where? This fare contract applies to from Toronto and Montreal. This is quite strict, limited market because the last one applies to all over Canada, but this one only from Toronto and Montreal. Okay, but they have lots of Asians there. Okay, so Toronto to Montreal and to where? Hanoi and Saigon. So this one, remember I showed you the map. Hanoi is up north, Saigon is down south. And most people actually go to Saigon. Saigon is more business cosmopolitan center. Okay. So again, this one applies to what class of service? Z class. It's deluxe class. Deluxe class either is a premium economy or close to business. I think it's premium economy. Look at the price. It looks like premium economy. So let's see how does work. First of all, the routing. This is very important. This routing. First of all, from Toronto and Montreal, there's no non-stop flight from Toronto or Montreal with Vietnamese airline to Saigon or Hanoi. You need to use which airline to help you? Air Canada. Air Canada. So basically, either from Toronto, so let's look at the first routing. Toronto flying with Air Canada to where? To Paris. You see, X/, what does it mean? Connection. So you fly Toronto with Air Canada to Paris. So Air Canada works with Vietnamese airline and flying to Paris. And from Paris, you fly to where? Hanoi and Saigon. Hanoi and Saigon. So there's a non-stop flight between Paris to Hanoi or Saigon with Vietnamese airline. Make sense? So that's routing number one. And routing number two, if your clients are from Montreal, then how does it work is Montreal fly with Air Canada to where? To Paris as well. And then from Paris to Hanoi, Saigon. And look at that round trip or one way. Do you see one way? There's no one way, it has to be round trip. And fare basis code It's the same, ZH, ZK, ZL. So what's the difference? Why they give me three columns, three lines? ZH, ZK, ZL. Remember we learned K, H, K, L. H stands for high season, L stands for low, K stands for shoulder, high shoulder. So you will see, of course, depending on the season, the price is what? It's different, right? So high season, how much is high season? 2,100. And low season, how much? 1,300. And this price, this top price, okay? Here, this one is low season. Is from where? Departure from which city? Toronto, okay? So again, depending on your client's travel date, it can be any of this fare. If they travel high season, that's how much does it cost. And next one, what if your clients travel from Montreal? The same thing, high, shoulder, and low. How much is now? 14, 17, and 22. So what does it mean? Which destination departure city is cheaper? Toronto. So if you travel from Toronto, the same seasonality, how much cheaper? How much cheaper compared with Montreal?
$100.
$100 cheaper. Okay. So if people travel from Toronto, it's $100 cheaper than Montreal. Okay. So that's what it means. And the booking code is all Z class. So now let's look at the travel conditions. Okay. Applies to travel commencing after June 15, 2012, and effective applies to ticketing on after June 15 and before March 31. So this is pretty long period of time. Okay. Here, this one's important. I want you to highlight seasonality, because this fare is a seasonal fare. It's not like the last one. Okay. So your client, depending on your client's travel date. So here, I also want you to write a note. What travel date decides this seasonality? You see this date, April 1st to April 25th, June 15th to June 30th. When we talk about dates, what dates decides? That's right. Outbound has to be outbound transatlantic flight. Outbound transatlantic flight. So let's write this down. Okay. Outbound transatlantic. So you can see shoulder, low, and high. Shoulder, low, and high. And we look at the high season. Let's see what is high season to go to Asia. It is actually from what? July 1st to August 7th, summer season. And also December 17th to December 25th. So the high show season is not very long. It's a month and another week. Okay, during Christmas. So that's high season. Again, depending on your client's travel outbound transatlantic date, then you are charging different fares. Make sense? Okay. So flight application, and the following flight number is not permitted. This one, and let's see. I want you to highlight the important ones. Okay, so first of all, minimum, maximum stay. Minimum stay is actually what? 0 days. And maximum stay is 6 months. You cannot stay over 6 months. Over 6 months, cannot use this fare anymore. Child infant discount is already there. Unaccompanied minor not permitted. Unaccompanied minor not permitted. Infant under 2 without seat 10%. Okay? Here, stopover, highlight this sentence for sure. Stopover at points specific as transit, permitted at charge 75 each. What does this mean? This is kind of all sentence. Stopover at points specific as transit, permitted. Anybody explain to me? Does it say where am I allowed to stop over? Paris, why?
Because you're allowed to stop over at the connection.
So basically that sentence says, at the transit point marked as /, you're allowed to do stopover. So where does it say /? It's Paris, right? So you're allowed to do Paris stopover. Is it free? How much is that?
$75.
$75. But does it say how many are you allowed? Does it say? It doesn't say, right? So am I allowed to do both outbound and inbound? Absolutely. It doesn't say one maximum, right? Okay. So combination not permitted. So this one, what does it mean combination not permitted? This is weird. Most of the time they are allowed to do combination. So basically here it means can you do Toronto to Saigon and Hanoi back to Montreal? You can't because they won't allow you to do combination. Okay. And add-ons. This one doesn't have add-on. Okay. So construction permitted between main and added sector. This one we don't have it. Okay. What else? Refund, okay, this is about the penalty. Refund is $75. Wow, this is probably lowest I've ever seen. Which means, are you allowed to do refund? Yes. How much they charge you? Only $75. Then you get all your money back. No show failure to request change at least 24 hours prior to departure with a fee of $75. So this one is different. Because most of the time, no show means what? You don't show up, you don't tell them. But for this airline, it's very strict, which means as long as within 24 hours you don't tell them you're not going to show up, then it's called no-show. It's not just that immediately before departure. Okay? So for example, if you want to change the date, you change before 24 hours before. Because otherwise, if it's 20 hours before the flight, it's not called change, it's called what? No show. Okay, so that's what it means. Same thing, service charge is consolidated. So this is another example. But now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you remember there are two ways we earn money? One is by percentage, one is by markup. Can you tell me what this contract is on? It's on percentage or it's on markup? Does it say any percentage? No. So this one is markup. What does it mean is they give you the net price. Net price means this is base fare, how much Inter will charge you. But can you quote this price for your client? You cannot. For example, your clients are traveling from Montreal to Saigon on the low season. How much does Inter charge you for base fare? $1,400, right? But how much will you quote for your client? How much do you quote for your client? Can you quote $1,400? You can't. You must add a markup. I would say I want to earn $100. So I will quote my client $1,500 as a base fare. Okay? Then plus all the charges, taxes. Make sense? You cannot quote this one, because if you quote this one, you earn nothing.
What's the maximum you can do?
Maximum, very good question. Maximum is the general policy is you cannot go over the published fare. Published fare, which means $D.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the published fare is 3,000, you can mark up to 1,600. Yeah, it's up to you. Okay, up to you. And that's the one I like to use this contract is because when the destination to Europe and part of Asia, popular city in Asia, and the markup is getting very, very low. It's very thin. Whereas if you go to some remote area, the markup is can be quite high. Okay? So that's what it means. Again, whenever you look at this one, you make sure you look at your client's itinerary. You ask yourself a question. Does your client travel from Toronto or Montreal? If it's Toronto, you look at the top 3. And your client's travel cross Atlantic date. Is this high season or low season or shoulder? Look at the seasonality, then decide the price. Make sense? Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3. Number 3, this one is the one we are going to use for the workshop. Okay? So make sure you listen carefully and write notes. Okay? Now this is 2 pages per person. You want it?
Yes.
You have it? Yes. Have it? So, Samantha? Okay, first of all, guys, this one is not easy. This one is not easy. So, if you have a question, make sure you ask me, okay? This one is quite challenging one. There are several reasons why it's challenging. So far, we've already talked 2 types. One is commission. You sell the published fare, you get commission by percentage. The other one is markup. They give you the net, then you add the markup yourself. Okay? So there are 2 ways to earn money. Now we're going to do this one. In order to get this one, for you to better understand, we have to learn some Middle East geography. Anybody is closely familiar with Middle East geography? You have been in Dubai, right? Should be a little bit, right? Like I have to confess, I'm not very familiar with the Middle East geography, so I did some background search, okay, about it. So this one is Air Canada and Gulf Air, the combination, their fare sheet. This one is specialized for a very big event in Middle East. It's called Hajj. Has anybody heard about the Hajj?
That's pilgrimage.
Yeah, that's pilgrimage event every year, annual event. And people, all the Muslims from all over the world go to Mecca. Okay, that's a huge event. Okay, so this one is actually Air Canada and Gulf Air work together to generate a fare, promotional fare for that event. Okay, so first of all, we are going to watch. No, we're not going to watch the video. First of all, Air Canada, the hub is Toronto or Montreal, right? Anybody knows Gulf Air? Where is this from? Which country? Which one? Bahrain. It's a very, very, very small. It's at the tip of the Persian Gulf. Okay. So now I'm going to show you a couple maps. So first of all, let's familiar yourself with the Middle East geography. Okay. So Middle East, you see, Bahrain is here. That's a Gulf Air's hub, Bahrain. It's a very, very, very small country, okay? But rich, okay? And look at the location. And when people go to Hajj, which is a pilgrimage event, it's in Mecca. Mecca is here, okay? And look at the geography. They're close to UAE, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi, Yemen, Oman, and Iraq, this area, okay? So that's where the Bahrain, and the Qatar Airways is here, so Bahrain is here, to give you some idea. And they are in Middle East. Also, now I'm going to show you how does it fly from Ottawa, from Canada, to Middle East, to Saudi Arabia, okay? So how do you fly to? You see here, there is some non-stop flight, but not with Gulf Air. Remember now we're working with Air Canada and Gulf Air work together, okay? Neither Air Canada nor Gulf Air operates non-stop flight between Toronto and Bahrain, okay? So now you need to transfer from where? From Ottawa or Toronto, whatever, to Europe. Then from Europe to Middle East, okay? So that's how the itinerary works. So you need to travel from here, see, East Coast, then fly to Europe. Where does Air Canada fly to Europe? London, Paris, Frankfurt, right? So you use any of this major hub. Then from there, you travel with Gulf Air to where? Gulf Air's hub is where? Bahrain, right? But guys, when people go to Hajj, they don't go to Bahrain. Bahrain has no Hajj. Where do they go?
Saudi Arabia.
They go to Saudi Arabia. So again, they have to travel to Bahrain first, then from Bahrain to where? To their final destination in Jeddah or Medina, which is in Saudi Arabia, close to Mecca. Okay? So now I give you another map. Here we go. So here we go, and look, this is a closer map. This is a map of Saudi Arabia, and Mecca is where they go for that pilgrim event. Okay, so it's in Mecca, but Mecca has no like big airport. When people go there, they have to fly either to Jeddah, which is closer, or Medina. These two airports. Okay, then transport to Mecca. So that's how it works. Okay, so now let's recap. What is their itinerary? This is a complicated itinerary. That's why I show you so many maps to get you familiar with it. First of all, for example, people in Ottawa, okay, they want to go to Mecca for the Hajj event. They want to travel with Air Canada and Gulf Air. So let's look at the itinerary. First of all, can they travel all the way from Ottawa to Mecca non-stop? There's no way, right? And because they're combining Air Canada and Gulf Air, so first of all, they travel from Ottawa to where? To London. Oh, there's a non-stop to London. So why don't we go to London first? Okay, non-stop. Ottawa to London, which airline operating? Air Canada, right? Air Canada. Remember I showed you the world map. You have first to fly Europe, right? Then from Air Canada, this fare sheet is Air Canada combining with which airline? Gulf Air. Gulf Air's hub is where? Bahrain, okay? And then I need this map, this itinerary. Okay, this is complicated. Okay. Okay, so to London. London, then we travel with Gulf Air. Gulf Air's hub is what? Bahrain, okay? So Bahrain, okay? But Bahrain is here. There's no Hajj there, okay? So we have to travel to where? What is the final destination? It's Jeddah, right? Jeddah. So if you look at the map, is JED or Medina. Either one is okay, right? This is where you're gonna do what? The Hajj, okay? So which airline operates between Bahrain and Jeddah? Gulf Air, because the Gulf Air's hub is this one, okay? So that's the itinerary. Make sense? Make sense? So Ottawa, we travel with Air Canada to Europe first. Then from Europe, continue with Gulf Air to Bahrain. Then Gulf Air continue to your final destination, either Jeddah or Medina, to do the Hajj event. Okay? So reverse is the same. Make sense? Okay? So now we are familiar with this map. Now let's look at this. And this is just a close look of Bahrain. You see how small this is? Very, very small. Okay, but very, very rich. Okay? Here we go. Now let's look at the fare sheet. We're gonna look Bahrain Gulf Air. Okay. Let's follow me. This is not easy itinerary. Okay, so this is Gulf Air. This is a special fare sheet designed for Canada Gulf Air Hajj 2013. Because every year there's an annual event, okay? And it's in October or September that time, okay? People go there, okay, for the event. So this one is designed for this one. First of all, remember we have to talk about which airline. It's Gulf Air with Air Canada, whatever. And also from where to where. So this one is the region. This is not just about destination, it's about region. They have an AC1 and AC2 region. What does AC1? There is a legend here. AC1 means Ottawa, Montreal, Halifax. Where? Thunder Bay, Halifax, no, Halifax just said that. Toronto, and so all these cities are on which side, which area of the Canada? East Coast. So Air AC1 is from East Coast, okay? From East Coast. Then AC2 is from Edmonton, Regina, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and what's this? Saskatchewan and Calgary. And this one are which side of Canada? West. So basically, East Canada, West Canada. Okay? So, and also here is which destination? Toronto, Vancouver, or Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, or Calgary. Okay? Now, airlines. Remember, Gulf Air cannot operate all the way from Ottawa, right? Or Montreal. So, you are going to use Air Canada and Gulf Air combination. Air Canada, Gulf Air combination. But here, look at this. If you are traveling Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, or Calgary, you can actually use which airline? British Airways and Gulf Air. Can anybody tell me why I don't do it here? Why Ottawa does not work? Why Edmonton does not work? Why it has to be Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary?
That's where British Airways flies.
That's right. That's where British Airways flies to. That's their hub.
But they do have a flight from Ottawa to London now, I think.
Air Canada.
Air Canada.
Yeah, British Airways does. British Airways only operated this 4 destinations. Okay? So that's the reason why. If you're traveling all of these 4 cities, you can actually use British Airways. But my question now, guys, can I use Air Canada if I travel Ottawa, Toronto? Yes, remember it's the AC1, AC2. You can use Air Canada, but if you fly out of these 4 cities, you actually have 2 options, Air Canada and British Airways, okay? Guys, please follow me. This is not easy, okay? And airlines, and VI, what does VI mean? Means connecting, right? Connecting. So you see, I give you the sample itinerary. You can connect in London. But is this the only city you can connect? No. You actually can connect where? London, Frankfurt, Paris, London, and Frankfurt. It's because what? That's where Air Canada flies. Okay, so you can connect either of them. But now my question is, how come Paris is not here? Why Paris is not here? Why Paris? I can do Paris from AC1. I cannot do Paris from AC2. AC2 is from these cities. Because Air Canada does not fly there. Right? Make sense? Because Air Canada does not fly into Paris from these cities. Whereas you can do this one from Paris. Okay? So here we go. And then the destination is where? Jeddah or Medina. Remember I showed you those 2 places close to Mecca. One is Medina further and Jeddah is closer. Okay? Those 2 destinations are the major airports that those people, when they go to Hajj, they fly into. Okay? So here are the fares. Here are the fares. 1795, 1935, and this fare. H class. So why there's difference? Why it's a 1795? They all fly to Jeddah or Medina. Why there's a 1935? Why one is cheaper? why you are traveling from AC1 to Jeddah is cheaper than traveling from AC2 to Jeddah. Because what?
The west.
Yeah, because it's further. AC1 is East Coast, AC2 is West Coast. It's further, of course it's more expensive. Make sense? Okay? And H class, you need to book H class. And again, is this net fare or percentage? It's net fare or percentage? This is what? Net fare. You need to put the markup, okay? So, and you're traveling from Toronto with British Airways connecting London, and it's only $17.55. Okay, so what does it mean is that, can I do Toronto to London with Air Canada, then London to Jeddah, London to Bahrain, Bahrain to Jeddah with $17.95, and this is $17.55. Why this one is cheaper? Okay, show you, huh? Sorry. Okay, so first of all, how much does this cost? Round trip. How much does this cost? Based on this sheet.
$17.95.
So this one is Toronto is AC1, right? Then you travel through London with Air Canada, then to Bahrain, then to Jeddah is $17.95. Then next one. Because I travel from Toronto, I can use British Airways as well. How much is this one? This one is only $17.55. Okay? Hey, it's $40 cheaper. What is the only difference? The only difference is what? Between Toronto and London. One is traveling with Air Canada, one is travel British Airways, and which one's cheaper? British Airways is $40 cheaper. So if you want to save money, you want to let your clients travel with British Airways. Okay? So that's what it means. Okay? Make sure understand this one. Okay? Perfect. And now, so the tour code, all fares are in Canadian dollar. Ticket validity, this one means between this time you can issue the ticket. Outbound travel validity, September 8th and 13th of October. How many? It's only over a month, right? How come it's so short?
The event is short.
Because the event is short. The Hajj is a short event. And the return travel date, October 20, and you see this one? You can only return after October 20. I actually checked the calendar on the 2013. October 19 or 18 is the end of the Hajj, which means you are only allowed to come back after the Hajj. Okay? And travel must be completed by April 13th, minimum 7 days, max 6 months, and highlight this one. One free date change allowed in one direction. You're allowed to make changes for the date, free. And the second change is $100. No show, $100. Okay, what does no show mean?
You don't show up.
Before the flight, you don't show up, right? So, but why there's $100 charge? Like for example, Mac booked this ticket, and when the time flies, and he didn't show up. Why there's $100 charge? So for example, Mac paid $2,000 for this ticket, but he's no show. But do you think he wants the money back? Absolutely, he wants the money back. But the airline, at this case, is no show. How much do you think he can get it back? $1,900? That's what you end there. But look at this. In case of no show, change and no show charge applies. Not only no show, but also the change or cancellation charge. Okay, so beautiful. And upsell from H to Y available for $400. What does it mean? Is this class is what? H class price. $17.95 H class. But if you want to upgrade to Y class, can you do it? Yes, but you have to pay how much? $400 more. And British Airways Gulf Air only valid through London, which means you can only travel through London if you travel British Airways. And Air Canada, you have how many choices? London, Frankfurt, and Paris. Okay. Flight restricted, don't worry about this. You can cross it out. You can cross it out. So make your life easier. Please follow me and do not overstudy. This one, flight restricted, this 3 lines. Okay? And ACBA transatlantic combination permitted on a half round trip fare basis. Wow, this one's good. What does it mean? Is that, for example, this is a round trip, isn't it? Is it possible, guys, listen to me, is it possible I travel outbound Toronto to London with Air Canada, then Gulf Air to Jeddah? Coming back, I do Gulf Air, and between London and Toronto, I travel British Airways. Can I do that? That's what it says. Okay, here is interesting. If you do that, you see, on a half round trip fare basis, how much does outbound cost? $17.95 divided by 2, right? How much does inbound cost? $17.55 divided by half. Because inbound, you chose British Airways. British Airways is cheaper, right? So your fare is getting cheaper, maybe $20 cheaper. And I would prefer this one. I'm saying I want to try British Airways. I've never flown with British Airways. Okay? And remember, I said side trip. Remember, guys, side trip permitted to where is this? Dubai, Doha, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, and this one I don't know.
That's good, I guess.
This-
Isn't this good?
Yeah, it is. Where is that?
No, I think it's in Gulf.
Is it in the Middle East? That one I'm not
I
familiar.
think it's Kuwait.
Kuwait, right? Okay. So which means side trip allowed for $350 round trip. So guys, remember I showed you the side trip. So can you tell me, guys, here, where do I do the side trip? If I want to go to Dubai, what is side trip option? Where do I do it?
From Bahrain.
That's right, absolutely right. So this is a side trip because remember you do the side trip from what? From the hub, right? So side trip hub is Bahrain. Then you are doing Dubai, then Dubai. Outbound to Dubai, inbound to Dubai. Then this is Bahrain. That's where do you stop over. How much does this cost for this round trip? $350. Okay, so basically you book this one and you want to do a side trip to Dubai, you just pay this one plus $350. Make sense? That's a side trip. And there are lots of side trip opportunities. So you can go to this place, but it costs a little bit more. And what is booking class if you want to book Dubai? Bravo class with Gulf Air. Bravo class, Gulf Air. And that's to Dubai. And if you want to go to Baghdad, no, sorry. You see, I have to confess, I'm not very familiar. Yeah, it is Baghdad. Okay, Baghdad. This is Baghdad. This is El Najif. Najaf? Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, well, we don't know. I don't think any of you know. Okay, so this is one. If you want to go there, can you do it? Yes, but it costs a little bit more, $600, and Q class. So remember I said, why do I use this fare sheet? Can you do this on the website? Do the point and click? You cannot. But this one, by doing this, you can do that. It's just more complicated one. And for sure, this one, I'm gonna charge them $300 markup for sure, each ticket. Because it takes me a long time to understand this fare sheet, okay? And seriously, I spent lots of time looking at the Middle East map. And still, I can't remember some of them. That's it? No, we have second page, right? Okay, then keep going, side trip, blah, blah, blah. You can go to India, Pakistan, L class. Then side trip, you see there are so many side trips. And side trip, they even give you the fare basis code, okay? Because when you book it, you need the fare basis code and booking code. And now, guys, I want to highlight this one. STPC, highlight this one. This is a abbreviation. What does STPC mean? STPC actually means stopover paid by carrier. Stopover paid by carrier. Write it down, please. Stopover paid by carrier. What does this mean? Oh, by the way, remember in the week 11 test, we talked about Air Canada transfer hotel service, right? That one is actually stopover paid by carrier. Because what? You're having long stop connection, then they pay for the hotel. That's basically means. But Gulf Air is not that generous. They say stopover paid by carrier permitted in where? Bahrain. You can do this in Bahrain because what's happening is that sometimes your flight from London to Bahrain leaves at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but your Bahrain to Jeddah flight leaves next morning. Okay, so you have a long layover, and then the airline say, I can offer you the hotel, but you have to pay how much? $60 per passenger. Yeah, but why do they call paid by carrier, right?
Well, they don't offer, the actual hotel is paid by the carrier, or just
No,
allow
it-
the stopover and there's a charge for it, they don't pay the
No,
hotel?
this one is on this basically, if you want to get a hotel room to do the long layover,
Right,
yes, $60.
what if you wanna stop over 4 days? Before you go on?
Then it's a stopover charge, but at the hotel you're gonna pay yourself, right? Okay, so let's see.
No, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
I've never seen that when I've flown, if there's, and I have flown on to Europe, let's say,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and British Airways allow
That's right.
free stopovers
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
along the way,
Yeah.
but they never paid for the hotel.
No, they don't, because not all the airlines will do that. Not all the airlines will do that. So basically, I will give you one example, stopover paid by carrier, right? When I used to travel with Japan Airline, okay, my flight from Chicago to Tokyo arrives at 6 o'clock at night. But my flight from Tokyo to Beijing arrives the next morning at 9 o'clock. So I have to stay there for overnight, right? So Japan Airline actually quite nice. They paid for the airport hotel for you. So you stay overnight, next day the shuttle bus will pick you up drive you to the airport. That's stopover paid by carrier. That's absolutely free. Some airlines will do. But for this one, Gulf Air say, I give you this option. If you decide to choose to stay in the hotel for that long layover, I charge you $60. But if you decide to stay overnight in the airport, it's free.
Okay,
Makes
so
sense.
if you're doing a stopover, let me get this right, from here to Manchester
Uh-huh,
to London, and you're gonna do a stopover in Manchester,
uh-huh,
and British Airways says that you can do that,
uh-huh.
Usually they say the stopover is free.
Yeah.
So, but they don't, these are stopovers chosen by you, the passenger.
Yeah.
If it was
If it's a mandatory,
It's
like a long
mandatory.
layover.
that's what that means.
That's right, that's what it
So a regular
means.
stopover wouldn't be called stopover.
No, this
by
is not
carrier.
stopover, this is actually a long connection. Yeah, but because you use the hotel, they charge you $60.
Okay, so if it's just a regular stopover that they allow.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They just, it's a different rule. They
That's
say
right.
stopover's
That's
allowed.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, makes sense.
Sorry.
Okay, so then child 75, infant 10%. Okay, here, this one gives you more details about the dates. Okay, what are you allowed to travel? But interesting is here, guys. Here, I don't get it. I checked the calendar. I don't know why they charge surcharge. You see, if you travel Air Canada between September 8th and September 13th, from this one to London to Paris or to whatever, from this one to London to Paris or to Frankfurt, you'll actually pay $100 more on top of this. Yes? Do you know why?
It could be have to do with Labor Day, people have to get back work in
Okay.
Europe or schools.
Okay, because I look at it, I don't know why during this 5 days,
It could be like
They
a
charge
quick,
you
a quick
more.
high season kind of thing.
yeah, but whatever, that's what you have to do. If your clients travel on these dates, you have to surcharge them, okay? And so, book AC in Q class and the upsell, so this one is talking about the detailed information, okay? Not gonna go there. And here, I want you to highlight this one. One-way net fares not permitted, which means, can you travel Toronto to Jeddah, don't come back? You can't, okay, you can't. And one free stopover in Europe or Bahrain, permitted one direction. So here, are you allowed to do stopover in London? Yes, for free. Are you allowed to stopover in Bahrain? Yes, for free, okay? And additional stopover, $140 for adult, $110 for child, and infant for $25. Okay, no stopover allowed in Canada, so you can't do stopover in Canada. So that's what it means. And here, cancellation penalty, refund penalty, charge $200 for fully non-refund, unused. So which means you pay $2,000, issue the ticket, but you decide not to travel. How much do you get back? How much do you get back? Minus 200, right? And no refund allowed for partially used ticket. If you already traveled to Jeddah, you decide to cancel, no refund. No show charge $100, we talked about that. Here, guys, this one. In case of no show, cancellation and no show charge applies. Remember, I used Mac as a scenario. So you paid $2,000 for the ticket, right? And Mac paid $2,000 to Jeddah, round trip. And before the flight to Toronto to London, Mac didn't show up. So it's a no-show, right? And you know what? Mac decided not to travel at all. But he called Air Canada, say, I want a refund because I didn't travel at all. So can you tell me at this point how much he's gonna get it back? So $2,000 is he paid. What is no-show charge? What is no-show charge? $100. So minus 100. That's it? Do you get $1,900 back? There's no way. You also have to what? Cancellation charge. So you minus another 200, so you get $1,700 back. This is a no-show. But what if it's the same thing with Jeremy? Jeremy paid $2,000, but he decided not to travel. But he called the airline 2 days before departure. So now this is called cancellation. Okay, because he called, say, I'm not going to travel anymore, sell this seat to other people. Then how much does he get back? Minus 200 cancellation penalty, he got $1,800 back. Why? Jeremy gets more than Mac.
Give him more notice.
Exactly, because he lets airlines know that's what airline can sell to the other people. Whereas Mac didn't tell them. So they gave this $100 what? No show penalty. Make sense? Okay. So we're good, and BGW has a Q surcharge 35 one way, so if you want to go to Baghdad, $35 more on top of those side trip. This one has a $50 more, and fuel surcharge how much? $226. And guys, look at this. This, the $17.95 whatever, does not include the fuel surcharge. Does not include all the high season charge. Does not include the side trip surcharge. Okay? Okay, so that's all for this fare sheet. Again, it's a lot. Okay? So now let's take a 10 minutes break. I know you need some time to think about it. And when we come back, we're gonna do the workshop.
Give this back to you?
No, you can keep it. I need it for week 14.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay, yeah.
Can I get my?
Oh, yes, your test. Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent.